Power 100, it's your Power Breakfast with Archie and Donny. It's been quite a week, Donny, here on the show. In our possession, we have the missing sign from the Mundingborough Hungry Jack store that blew away in the cyclone. We want to give it back. We don't want to hold it hostage. All we want is for Hungry Jacks, who are the sponsor of the NBL, to give Townsville something back that from every single story I've ever heard about it was something that was deeply special to the city. The Townsville Crocs.
Absolutely. And on our quest, we've had the old CEO endorse us. Andrew Gaze has endorsed us. The head coach of the Boomers, Gorge, has endorsed us. But there's one man who has eluded us. One man who keeps on coming up every single morning. We're getting stories and stories and stories. And that's the Croc himself.
And joining us right now live in the studio, this is a huge moment in our story, is Shaun, who was, as you remember him, the Croc, the man in the suit. Good morning, Shaun.
Yeah, guys, how are you going?
Very, very good now that you're here. I don't think you understand the amount of calls that we've gotten this week. We ask people every day, what did it mean to you to go watch the Crocs? Not once has someone been like, oh, there was this one game. There was this one time where there was a buzzer beater shot. Oh, this guy did a really cool trip. What? Nothing. Everything is, well, I love to go and watch the Croc.
Yeah.
The Croc was pretty cool.
So, Shaun, tell us, how did you become the Croc? How did that story evolve?
Look, I just got a love for sport, and I had a good connection through Teachers West Rugby. I played senior rugby with that club, and the coach at the time knew Mark Bragg, and he was the coach of the Townsville Suns, and they were in and out of the state league. We were trying to get into the NBL, and it just sort of wasn't gaining traction. And of all things, the Sun players came along and tried their hand at rugby, and we went along and tried our hand at basketball, and went, oh, look, I'm challenged here. I'm about 5'7". I'm not going to play basketball, but I'm going to, it's really good. I enjoyed the participation, and the crowds were pretty cool and all that sort of stuff when I went along. And they failed to get in the NBL for whatever reason, and the crowds dropped off, and I was, that's a bit sad. And I ran into Mark Bragg and Charters Towers. I said, mate, you need to get something going there, mascots, cheerleaders and all that sort of stuff. And we just had lunch, and he was out there for Powers at the time, the principal sponsor. And he said, mate, can you do something? I went, oh, yeah, and I thought nothing of it. And about 3 days later, I got a phone call from a guy called Mike Morich, who's since passed away, and he said, mate, you've got to come and talk to me about this mascot thing. And I went, oh, well, it's just an idea. And he said, no, come and have a chat. So the Croc started from there. Just one casual lunch, and chucked out a stupid idea, and that became me.
So the Croc wasn't involved with the team yet. You completely pitched that idea as a brand new thing to bring to the entertainment value of the sport.
Yeah, look, I just I had this vision of Wally Gator. I don't know why. I mean, everyone seems to think you've got to have a mascot that's named after your team. And if you look at it in the future, I'm the only, the Crocs were the only team named after the mascot, because the originally started as the Suns. Right? So,
surely doesn't normally work.
Yeah, so when you think about that, the mascot comes after the team, but actually the Crocs got named after me. So, I haven't got that cash yet. They haven't sent the checks in the mail, naming right sponsor, whatever it is. But no, I didn't get that. But I just kind of thought, well, I couldn't see myself running around as a Sun. I'm just...
what does that even look like? Just a big orange ball?
Hard to get through doors and stuff.
I tell you what, it looks like a soft Croc.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Croc,
of course.
C-R-O-C. Yeah. So I just, I always had this thing about Wally Gator. He ran around his back legs. He's pretty cheeky. And I said, well, not many alligators up this way. There's plenty of Crocs. And I said, if you get the Croc, no one else can take it.
Yep.
So beat everyone. And then they decided to go with the Croc. So, yeah.
Now, we've heard a lot of stories about what you used to get up to on the court. Where did the vision come from to be as cheeky, to put it one way, as you were? Like, you seem to have been the most rowdy mascot in the whole of the NBL at the time.
Look, it probably comes from even my work. I'm a salesman by profession, although I run a big business now. And I was out on the road as a 19-year-old salesman, and I think they put me out the road to get me out the office because I talk too much. And then as a halfback in rugby, you've really just got to keep talking all day. You've got to tell everyone where to go, and you chirp away. And I just kind of had that sort of cheekiness about me. And when I came to actually getting in the suit, and that was by default, I just found it so easy to have a crack at people. And I thought, well, you're going to look stupid if you come back and have a crack at a mascot. So it's a bit different on footy for you to get a smack in the mouth. But it just started from there. And I got to know the players and the refs, and I established that line where I could push a little bit. And, and look, the thing with mascots back then, I'm not going to stand around and clap my hands on a corner. I mean, that's just not me. So you get what you get. I'll wait for you to tell me don't do it again, and I'll just keep pushing it until you tell me that. So, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm going to play some audio in a sec of some of the amazing stories about you that we've received this week. But when you were coming up with these crazy stunts, did you have to run that past anyone? How did that work?
No, look, you'd probably everyone understand knows Steve Price. Since he recently retired from radio. I didn't know him up until, look, again, it's a weird one, but Mike Morich, he was game night manager, but he ran a very successful business in town. So we're just doing this for the fun. We're doing it for the love of the city. And they convinced Pricey to get involved in that. And so I just went along one day and they said, hey, this is Steve Price and this is Shaun. And we shook hands, met each other, and he probably thought, what an idiot. Like this guy, I actually dressed in business attire, so, I thought this guy's not going to be any good. But it was one of those things, he just got what he just knew what I was going to do. He was my voice. We didn't have to do too much planning. So it would be a couple of drinks on a weekend. I'd go out and try and put it all together, and he would read my mind. Seriously, I didn't have to. Sometimes when Pricey wasn't there, people would step in, and I'm actually talking to them, telling them what to say because you can't see my mouth going, so I could act it out. He just got it. Just one of those really incredible things. And look, he's my godfather's my eldest daughter.
Yep.
In my wedding party, so like we go back a long way. But it was just a natural thing, and we just. I don't know, we just looked at things in the paper. Look what, it could be current politics. We just get a bit edgy with some of the stuff there. Yeah. And I just looked for things that, I don't know, it's a weird one. We used to have the Melbourne Giants in there, so I did, the fee, fi, fo, fum, all that sort of thing about the Giants, and we dropped this thing from the ceiling. It's just, I don't know, it's just crazy. It just all came together anyway. I don't know. Too much drink, I think.
Shaun, I've got to play the story we got on the show yesterday from a girl called Kira you are etched in her memory from childhood. Have a listen to this story.
When you guys put that post up on Facebook, it just triggered this memory of Croc bursting onto the court at halftime, sirens blazing, lights are flashing. He's pushing this hospital bed around the court over and over again. We're all going, what the heck is going on? Next minute, he pulls the sheets down. There's a giant plushy snake lying dead on the bed. He's getting on top. He's doing the CPR. He's shaking it wildly. And then he calls it, no, he's not waking up. Ref, he's dead. And so we thought, man, we must have really been kicking the Taipan's butt that day for those dramatics.
Yeah.
Look, I had fun with. Look, Townsville Cairns rivalry is always pretty good.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I hate them, and look, I had a good mate of mine, Ronnie Anderson, and he actually looked like Steve Irwin. And we did one skit and we called him Steve Kerwin, and he
never thought about that.
Love that.
Brilliant.
And he dressed up in the Steve Irwin, and look, I could tell you, it's funny because I don't think about those things, and then it just, I remember that one.
Of course.
I did that one with they would look like getting out of the NBL, and they're still in, we're not, so I better keep quiet. But some of the stuff I did with them, that became so easy. I just think, oh God, I got away with some stuff.
Oh man, you certainly did. I mean, there's so many great stories. Well, we've got to ask you. You now know about our plan to try and get the Crocs back. You have to be an integral role to that. What do you think? Reckon it's a fair trade?
Look, I seriously, I pretty well said, like, I've known around town, it got out, and so everyone knows me as a Croc, and I've got a tattoo of a Croc on my back. My wife's a cheerleader and all that sort of stuff, so there's really good connections. And the other day I was actually walking along, I had to go and do a presentation down south, and they just want to know a bit about your background. And I was just thinking, I'll just chuck something a little bit left of field. And I was thinking about the Crocs, And, I run a business, there's like a $30 million business. I'm talking to people that run a $4.5 billion business, and they didn't know I ran around in a lycra suit, stinks and green for 20 years, So I just want to chuck it in there, and I was rehearsing it in my head, and this guy walks across the road, he goes, "Hey, Croc, how you going?" And I've got no idea who the guy is. Oh. And so I stopped and said, "Hey, mate, how you going?" And he was just going on about, "Oh, I wish we had the Crocs back, wish we could do this." And I think that period in Townsville, before the Cowboys came along, that was the night. You know, everyone went out. It was, you know, the location was fantastic. Yeah. Spilled out in the crowd after, you know, all in Flinders Street East. It was a damn good evening, really. It was entertainment. So you've got to remember the Crocs or the Suns back then weren't really competitive.
Yep.
So what we tried to do was go, okay, it's going to be a pretty ordinary score, I think, but we'll try and give you something to go home and remember. So that's why our game presentation was probably the best in the NBL back then.
We've got to get him back.
Yeah, I mean, everything that we're hearing was just one of the best, like you said, one of the best nights out in Townsville possible. We're so jealous that we didn't get to experience it, and we're going to move heaven and earth to try and make this happen. It starts with a sign. Who knows how far we go? We
and you'll be pleased to know, like we've had, as Donny mentioned at the start, Andrew Gaze has come on the show. He shared a story that he had a memory about what the antics you got up to. We had the head coach of the Boomers, Brian Gorgon, the most successful coach. Yeah. Lovely man. He was on the show on Wednesday, and he was telling us an anecdote about what you did on the court. Like, you have left a very big impression on the basketball community in this country. And it's amazing to be able to relive this history of this city through people like yourself. We have on the desk right now the Croc outfit, which is right here. Do you mind if I touch it?
Go for it.
Okay.
My wife. Oh, just no. She.
I just want to hold it up to the camera. A lot of people in Townsville may not have seen this for many, many years. In fact, I actually want to put it down because it's so fragile. It's so remarkable to have you on and to hear another voice on this. And we are just loving hearing all these people share their stories about how I think maybe you do realise it, but the impression that you left on people's memories for their lifetime, that's all on you. So you should be really proud of that.
Well, mate, you get the Crocs back. I'll guarantee I'll do the first year.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Nah, because I'll do the first year.
Wow.
The original Croc will come back. Brian Gorgon said he'll basically come and coach at least one game for us.
Mate, yep, done. I'm in.
We've got a coach and we've got a Croc.
We just need a team.
Hey, wife's a cheerleader. I'm sure I can find some plus side. No, don't say that.
Sean!
That's the Croc coming out of me.
Okay.
Find some of those smaller uniforms that she used to wear.
Okay, she must have a couple of friends who want to come back.
Yeah, she does, actually. She does. Yeah, look, it was really fantastic. We've got some lifelong friends.
Fantastic.
Wow. We've got a coach, a Croc, and a cheerleader.
Yep. Now we just need to start building the roster.
And I'll have to think of the punchline for that joke too. It'll come to me.
We'll have a drink this afternoon. We'll come up with that.
Okay, good. Well, now we've got Sean involved. And look, Hungry Jacks, if you're listening, you'd be stupid not to get involved now. Thanks, Sean.